So I think the maximum now is $2,500. It used to be higher than that. And then when all the changes with Obamacare, but that's a lot of money. I use every dime every year.
Yeah.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the NeverBroke podcast. My name is Janai Thornton, and my special co-host with me again today is Miss Holly Reed.
Hello, everybody.
And Holly, I'm excited. I can't believe the year is almost over.
Yes, this daylight savings time has now come. We're coming up on the holidays pretty soon, so
we are on the countdown for sure.
Yes.
And that's why what we're talking about today is it's all about the fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. But it's all about not it just being the end of the year, because everybody's just winding things down, getting ready for the holidays. But this is the time really to dig in.
Yes. We talked about this a little bit before we started taping.
Right.
And you were saying how some people get really relaxed and they're just like, well, I'll just coast and cruise through the end of the year. But in actuality, this is a time to get aggressive.
You can get so much done right now.
Yes. So today we're going to talk about a couple of areas, probably about 5 or 6 areas that we want you guys to focus on, to dig in on. So let's get started. I'm going to ask you first.
Okay.
The first topic is about taxes. So as people prepare to end the year on a strong note, what should people be focused on when it comes to their taxes?
Well, this is really a good time for those of us as individuals to think about purging, downsizing, purging, cleaning out. It's a great, because we want to be able to give charitable donations, contribution.
Exactly. So that's a great one for everyone to be aware of, just your taxes.
Right. And those of us who are entrepreneurs, this is a really good time to think about looking at what you have left, money wise, what's left in your account, what's left in your budget, how much income you have coming in, and what expenses do you need to intentionally occur that you would have done anyway.
Right.
So this doesn't mean be frivolous. That doesn't mean just go out and buy a new car just because you got the itch. But if you had plans to buy something first quarter and you really need to spend some money down so you don't have to pay Uncle Sam, write those checks to the IRS or whatever state you live in, this is a really good time to plan for that now.
Yes. And so another thing, we talked about this as well, is one of the things that I personally do is I typically get a refund check in April at the end of every tax year.
I'm a little jealous.
And so I adjust my withholdings.
Okay.
I go and get that form, the W-4 form, and I increase my exemptions so that they are taking out less federal taxes over the course of the year.
Right.
But now that we're getting towards the end of the year, I may want to go back and lower those exemptions.
Right.
Just to make sure they will give me something back. They just won't give me thousands of dollars back.
Right. And so really the goal is to break even.
Right.
Because
exactly.
if you're getting too much back, that means the government has been holding your money all year long.
Tax-free loan.
Tax-free loan. But also, too, if you owe, that means you're not paying enough in.
Yes.
So, again, if you change your withholding during the year because
Absolutely.
you're trying to get that extra money, it's a great time to go back to HR and get that fixed.
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect.
So let's talk about saving. So a lot of people at the beginning of the year said, you know what, I'm going to save this much in my emergency fund. I'm going to save this much in an account. And, you know, a lot of people, for whatever reason, got off track. Mm-hmm. So what are some things that people can do now to get back on track and maximize the amount of time they have left this year?
So I said it earlier about just people being more aggressive. Like, this is the time to be aggressive. Try to cut out that wasteful spending that we've got accustomed to doing, especially if your emergency fund got a beating this year, whether it was, you know, a major car repair or some medical bills that it may have taken it down. Go ahead and just find that extra money. It is there. We spend quite a bit on things that we don't need. The holidays are coming up. You need to get in that stockpile mentality. Start stacking that dough before the end of the year, because there's something else that's bound to come up, and you don't want to start off next year at a deficit.
And who have you ever said, dang, why did I save that much money? Who's ever been mad about saving money?
Right,
Like,
exactly.
why I should not have saved that much money. No one will ever say that.
Yes.
You know, the other thing too about saving, what I always say, make it simple, but also make it hard. Make it simple to save.
Okay.
Very easy. Simple meaning coming right out of your check.
Automatic. Yep.
But you need to make it hard. You need to put that money someplace where you cannot touch it. And that's where the hard comes in. I don't have a debit card for my savings account. I literally have to get up, drive to the bank, and go in to see the teller. No ATM, no online, none
Nothing.
of that. Yeah?
Okay.
So make it simple and hard at the same time.
I like that piece of advice.
Absolutely.
That's a good one.
Yeah. So let's talk about credit for a little bit.
Okay.
So, you know, a lot of times people are focused on just really knowing their score. This is a great time to check your credit for sure.
Yes, especially if you haven't checked it all year. With the holidays coming up, this is like prime territory for identity theft.
It is.
So you want to make sure that you have pulled your credit score. You're checking it twice, making sure there's no misinformation on there.
Right.
All the credit agencies, you can go to Equifax.com and you can actually put either a fraud alert or actually freeze your credit. And what that actually does is it doesn't allow any new credit to be opened in your name during this time, during this freeze period that you can determine. So if you don't trust yourself, you need a little help not to take advantage of all these holiday promotions coming down the line.
Be honest.
Yes, exactly. I would definitely suggest it. If you've been a victim of identity theft, it's such a serious thing. Definitely go and look at putting either alert on your credit or put a freeze on your credit during this time of year so that you can just prevent all of that mayhem.
Right. So, you know, one thing, you know, people really start thinking about at the beginning of the year is, you know what, how different my life would be if I had more money.
Yes.
Because, you know, a lot of problems that we have, it can actually be fixed by, we just need more money coming in.
Bringing in just a little bit more.
We just need to. So, you know, I really challenge people as we're digging in right now, really digging in, really getting focused. You really need to think about what can you do to create multiple sources of income.
Yes, and that's what NeverBroke podcast is all about.
Right.
You can go and listen to our other podcast episodes where we're talking to people who are actually doing these things. They've come up with creative ways to incorporate making money and their interests, their passions, things that connect together that they can then monetize and bring in a couple of $1,000s a month or bring in hundreds of $1,000s a month, whatever your commitment is.
Right.
But whatever you think you need, it's totally possible. Yep. So what is it? The average millionaire has 7 streams of income.
Yep.
Not 7 jobs.
Right.
You don't have to have 7 jobs to have 7
Absolutely.
streams of income.
Absolutely.
But you got to do something else. You can't rely on, just one source, corporate America, because at any point in time that could be taken away from you. So what would you do? Just put yourself in that mindset, put yourself in that situation and say, if I had to make $1,000 by the end of this month, what could I do?
Right. And so we are challenging you legally. Thank you for saying that. But we are challenging you to really, really dig in and figure this out.
Yes.
Let's step up, come up with a different plan, and come up with something else that we can do to get that extra money in for sure.
Yes. Never broke.
Never broke. Absolutely not. So, Holly, let's talk a little bit about employee benefits.
Okay.
We leave a lot of money on the table.
Yeah. So I'm hoping everybody by now has at least had their enrollment period if their company offers them great benefits.
Right.
So you've probably made your choices already. But if not, if you're independently looking for healthcare, I think there's a government site. It might be called healthcare.gov, and I can pull that up if we need to just triple check that. But yeah, so our company offers us a lot of benefits that are probably already in pay. We talked earlier about the flexible spending accounts that some companies offer.
Right. And so that's the FSA, again, the flexible spending account. And what that allows you to do is you have a certain amount of money that's taken out of your check, pre-tax, no taxes taken out of it, that you get to allocate and set to the side and gets put on this account for you to pay for medical expenses.
Prescriptions, co-pays for doctor visits,
glasses, contact lenses,
yep.
And you can even use it for a lot of over-the-counter drugs too. It doesn't necessarily always have to be prescription.
That's right.
So I think the maximum now is $2,500. It used to be higher than that, and then when all the changes with Obamacare, but that's a lot of money. I use every dime every year, but it's a huge difference to know that I have this card and I'm ready for co-pays, deductibles, doctor's appointments, glasses.
Yep.
We can get all of that taken care of, and that money is set to the side.
Right. Now, I've had a different experience. I've been burned in the past because with this particular account, the money that you put in, you either use it or lose it. So as we near towards the end of the year, you may want to just go and check to see how much money you've actually deposited into that flexible spending account, and make sure that you use it, that you submit for your reimbursements for all those eligible medical expenses, so that you don't lose that money.
Right. And it's funny that you say that, because literally today I checked what I had left on my FSA account.
Yeah.
So I know exactly how much I need to spend before year end. So this is a great time to check in just to see what you have left.
Yes.
Yeah.
Check in and dig in.
Definitely want to do that. The other thing too, this is a good time with your employer. Please figure out if you are eligible to participate in the 401k. Mm-hmm. You might be eligible for a 403b. All these numbers, all these letters. Bottom line, it just means retirement.
Yes.
And so if you can enroll, you need to do it, whether your company matches or not. So match just means you're putting in an amount, and then your employer matches the amount that you put in, maybe dollar for dollar, or maybe you put in $1, they put in 25 cents or 50 cents.
Right.
But it's not their job to make sure that you're ready for retirement.
No, it's not.
No,
it's a gift.
It's a gift.
Free money.
It's free money.
We don't turn down free money.
You're crazy not to do that. But find out when you're eligible and when you're supposed to enroll and sign up for that. You definitely want to do that for sure.
Do not miss out on that opportunity, people. It's so important.
So now we're at the end of the year, and the holidays are upon us.
Yes, it's a joyful time.
So is it stressful for you, or is it like a happy time for you?
It's a happy time for me.
Okay.
I don't get stressed over gifts or gift giving.
Okay.
So, yeah, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
I have a long list too.
Oh, do you?
So I do, take some time and map it all out, write everybody's name, write an idea of what I think I want to give them, and try to keep it within a certain budget.
Right.
So it's important, that you guys set a budget, because with holidays and gift giving, we can get real generous when it comes to spending money that we don't have. So just try to practice some self-control and some self-restraint. You don't have to buy people's love and buy people to let them know that they are a valued person in your world.
Right.
You can come up with some really inexpensive yet thoughtful gifts. Just try to think about being more thoughtful versus buying the latest $1,000 gadget for somebody.
And what? Really,
unless you can afford it, and then you can buy me a $1,000 gadget.
Me too. Okay. Please, me too. Maybe you can get me 2 of those. But one thing that I really loved about what you said is about having the budget,
right? Because
you need some parameters. We all do. No matter what your budget is, mm-hmm. $10,000 or $100, who's getting what, and how much can you afford, and how are you going to pay for it?
Yep.
Because Christmas and this holiday season is not fun if you take the entire year to pay for it.
Oh yeah. And lots of people fall victim to it, unfortunately. So we want to be in that group that doesn't,
Right.
So a lot of people will spend, be really happy about the gifts that they've given, and then they spend the first half of the next year trying to pay it off.
Digging out versus digging in.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Finding all kind of jobs and ways to find extra money to pay that credit card bill, when if you had done that on the front end, you wouldn't have had to use credit at all.
And one thing too, where I've noticed, where I've kind of gotten off track, my issue isn't the gifts, it's all the other stuff, because you're not thinking about all the entertaining.
That's right. The
and
holiday parties
and Christmas.
Yes,
hosting
the menus.
Absolutely. And so, but what's your budget for that too?
Yep.
Because that's the money that just ends up getting away from us.
That is an excellent point. people moving in and inviting people down to come see them. It takes money to host people and make sure that they're well taken care of when they come to visit you.
Please take some time to get your budget together, get your finances in order so you'll have a really good new year and dig in through the holidays. It only takes a little bit to go ahead and write that list and that budget out. There's just a couple more things that I wanted to focus on. And a lot of people don't really start thinking about this till January, but people need to get prepared now, which is financial aid. And it's funny for me, even though I think, I'm pretty confident in this area of finance and I know what I'm doing. Those forms, that FAFSA, that free application for federal student aid, is a lot of work. Yeah. It takes a lot of preparation and it can be intimidating. So what I'm suggesting for new parents, if you've never completed the form, you need to go online, print it, and take a look at the form.
Yes, and there's a great resource called goodcall.com. And basically what it is, it's an online database of scholarships. So you can go on, register, and look for scholarships. It's free. And you can go in and make selections. I'm a Black male interested in this, studying this topic, or I'm a son of a veteran, or whatever your particular unique situation is. They will spit out a list of scholarships that you would potentially be eligible for. But then they go a step further. They tell you whether or not this scholarships receive thousands of applicants or if they receive a couple of hundred. Right. So you can determine, do I spend my time on the one where my chances of actually receiving the scholarship is less, right, or do I go to the one where I'm more likely to actually receive it if I apply for it? Yeah. So it's a great resource.
That's a really good resource. And there's another popular resource called Fastweb, fastweb.com. Also a great site that you can use for scholarship information. So regardless of where the young people go, they need to do the heavy lifting. Yes. They need to do it. And if your child is already in college, they need to be going to their department. They need to be going to the financial aid office. What else is more important than figuring out how to get this education paid for? Right. So we're going to put the ball in their court on this.
Yes.
Yes. So the last topic, Holly, I want to go over today when we're talking about this theme of fourth quarter and really digging in is about saving and paying down debt.
Okay.
Because see, this is the time of the year where people are like patting themselves on the back saying, I did this, everyone's happy. Or they're like, you know what? 2016, I'll be happy when it's over, right? Because things did not go well for me financially.
Right.
So if you got off track saving, guess what you need to do? You just need to start right now.
Yep.
You just got to start. Whatever your commitment is, like we talked about earlier, you've got to do that. But it's the exact same thing for paying down debt.
Yes. Be aggressive.
Yep. And so right now, you just need to know what your list is. Who do you owe? How much do you owe them? And then what is your commitment to paying down the debt? So if you want to get out of debt, how much extra can you pay towards whatever the bill is, whatever the debt is, so that way you can eventually get out of debt for sure, But it takes a while and it takes a commitment.
Right. And it's not, you didn't get into it. If you're buried in thousands of dollars of debt, it didn't come overnight. It was purchases over time. Usually, right. Unless you made a huge purchase and put it on your card. But it's going to take some time. So you really do have to make a plan and just get your mind right that you're going to be committed and how long it's going to take you to pay it off.
Yeah. And every dollar you pay over matters. People think the extra $5 or $10. Yes,
it matters.
Does. It definitely adds up. So let's recap. We talked about taxes, what folk need to do to get ready, digging in fourth quarter, saving money. Talked about credit. Talked about creating this new income source so we can have money to do the things we want, to live the life we want. All of our employee benefits, maxing that out. Talked about financial aid. And then we talked about paying down debt. So we got a lot to do this fourth quarter.
Yes. Yeah. So don't coast.
No coasting.
No riding.
No riding.
We got to dig in and get some more accomplishments under our belt before the new year comes in.
Absolutely. So let's dig in fourth quarter. Holly, thank you for hanging out with me again today.
I love this stuff.
So thanks everyone for tuning in to another episode of the NeverBroke podcast. And we look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks for tuning in.